SSB? Single sideband modulation, SSB. So what was single sideband? As you have a message signal. This is a spectrum, MF. Normal AM modulation. The spectrum will look like this. Here you have a carrier frequency. This is FC plus FM. This is FC minus FM. Similarly here, negative side also. So DSB-SC, you have just suppressed the carrier, but all the both upper and lower sidebands are there. And what about single sideband SSB? You have only one sideband, either the upper sideband or the lower sideband. Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yes. Time domain description. Time domain description means how you are writing that. So to explain the word time domain description or the signal as such, I have used the. So this is the equation for an AM. This one for a normal standard AM. Standard AM, the description, time domain description is like this. AC into 1 plus Ka into M of t, which is the envelope. This part is the envelope, and cos 2 pi FCT. So this is the time domain description of an AM. S DSB-SCT, for a DSB-SC signal description is AC cos 2 pi FCT into M of t, product of those two. Okay, now how you will write an SSB, single sideband modulated signal? What will be the expression of an SSB? It is actually a filtered version of DSB-SC. So DSB-SC signal pass through a filter. What happens? Pass through a band pass filter, you are going to get SSB. So in time domain, how you are going to write SSB signal? That is our topic, first topic for the day, time domain description. So I explain these two just to make sure that make you clear about what you mean by this time domain description. So AM, you have an equation. DSB-SC, you have an equation. So similarly, how you are going to represent the SSB signal in time domain. That is our topic for day. So if SSB is using the upper sideband, the expression is AC by 2, comma, bracket M of t cos 2 pi FCT minus M cap t sin 2 pi FCT. This is t, okay. T. And S lower sideband. If you want to represent SSB signal with a lower sideband, it will be SL. Okay, this is L. SLT equal to AC by 2 MT cos 2 pi FCT plus M cap t sin 2 pi FCT. So this is it. So I am trying to tell you, this is the first one is the equation for an AM signal. Next one is the equation for a DSB-SC signal, and this is the expression for a SSB signal. Whether it is an upper sideband or a lower sideband, this is the expression. So now we have a newcomer over here, M cap. Do you know what it is? This is a newcomer. Any idea what it is?
Ma'am, is it a 90 degrees phase shifted version of M?
Not exactly. M cap t is a Hilbert transform of M of t. So you have M of t, you have a Hilbert transformer. Whatever output that Hilbert transformer is giving, that is M hat t. Okay, so this is a transform. Hilbert transform is a new transform which you are not aware yet. And can you give me any points regarding this Hilbert transform, just from the information whatever I have given till now? Can you point out something which you found out about Hilbert transform? How it is? What is the transform? I'll deal it later. But can you point out something just in the first look?
Ma'am, the
Anything? Can
signal
you
is
just
still in time domain.
exactly? Very good. Who was that?
Me, Kumar.
Others. One who? Yuvraj or the others?
It wasn't me, ma'am.
Okay. So see, the point over here is you can see see as he pointed out, you can see that the signal, whatever the Hilbert transformer, the signal input signal is in time domain. See, it is MT in the time domain, and the output is also in time domain. So this transform, whatever you call as Hilbert transform, is not a transform like Fourier or Laplace or anything else. It is Fourier or Laplace. What it is doing? It is transforming the signal from time domain to frequency domain. So Hilbert transformer is not doing that. So what is Hilbert transform? And M cap T is the Hilbert transform of M of T. And what is Hilbert transform? See, Hilbert transformer, this one, this whatever is this black box, that is having a transfer function like this. 1 for all the frequencies, and the phase difference of, the phase spectrum is plus 90 for negative frequencies and minus 90 for positive frequencies. This pattern you have seen actually as a signum function. A flipping of this pattern you have experienced, you know it as signum function. And this, the Hilbert transformer is having an expression h of t. The impulse response of the Hilbert transformer is 1 by pi t. So whatever is signal is given input to the Hilbert transform, output will be M cap t. And this M cap t is h of t convolution M of t. Message signal and h of t convolution is the M cap t. And this h of t, uska Fourier transform h of f in the frequency domain, h of f is having this expression, and h of f is actually minus j signum f. So 1 by pi t, or in frequency domain minus j signum f, is the transfer function or the impulse response for the Hilbert transformer. And you just understand that M of t to the Hilbert transformer is giving M hat t, and M hat t is M of t convolution h of t. So what is the significance and all will be too much needed, too much. It is a transform. It is a complex transform actually. So M hat t is mt convolution h of t, and M hat t, M hat t ka Fourier transform is as this equation in the convolution theorem, convolution property of Fourier transform. Applying that, you can say that this convolution converts to multiplication in the frequency domain. So M hat t, the Fourier transform of M hat t is product of these two, h of f into M of f. This is M of f, h of f into M of f, which is h of f is minus j signum f, and this is M of f. Okay. H of f I have explained. H of t, uska transform.
Shouldn't the output also be in frequency domain?
Yeah. No, ma'am.
What in frequency domain?
This, ma'am, shouldn't be converted back to time domain. Like after multiplying them, shouldn't they be converted back to time domain?
This is not equation. This is transform. M hat t.
Yes, ma'am. That I've understood, ma'am. After h of f into M of f, after we do it, don't we have to convert it back to time domain so that the domains of the two things match? Like m hat t should be equal to whatever the expression is in time domain, right?
It is not equal to, I am telling. This is that, this
Yes,
symbol.
ma'am, that I understood.
See, m hat t, what is the transform of this? You name it as m hat f. Okay. And I am telling m hat f is equal to minus j signum f into m of f. Now are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is what m hat t is having a transform of this. Transform m hat f, and m hat f is minus j signum f into m of f. So if m hat f is there, to make it into time domain and get m dash m hat t, you need to do the inverse transform, Fourier transform. Okay. So this is a. Now let us go ahead with the time domain description of SSB. 1 second. So now let us go ahead with the time domain description. So time domain description, as I told you, S of t. See, Fu. Single sideband modulation with the upper sideband T will have an expression AC by 2 m of t cos 2 pi fct minus m hat t sin 2 pi fct. Or the lower sideband will have an expression AC by 2, or in general, if I am writing SU or lower sideband will be equal to plus, minus, or plus. So this is for lower and this is for upper. This is lower. So this is the expression. Now how to arrive on that? It is a little bit complex phenomena. So let us try DSBSC spectrum. DSBSC spectrum. will look like this. This is Fc. Fc plus W. This is Fc minus W. This is 0. Minus Fc plus W and minus Fc minus W. So this is the DSBSC spectrum. Let us name it as SDSBSCF. Now, I am telling you, there is a concept known as complex envelope. So that we will represent as S tilde F. So S tilde of DSBSC. This is axis, this is F. This is same W, this is minus W, AC into M0. So the complex envelope of low pass complex envelope of DSBSC spectrum of the complex envelope. This is the this looks like this. So now what do you mean by a complex envelope? So that is a little bit deep concept. Let me see how I can explain it to you. So S tilde F DSBSC is the spectrum of the complex envelope of the DSBSC signal. And what is the DSBS complex envelope in the time domain, which is S hat DSBSC T is equal to AC into M of T. It is the envelope, okay. Complex envelope of DSBSC T, DSBSC signal is AC M of T, and the spectrum of that, the transform of that is S hat DSBSC F. So now, for time's sake, you accept it just like that. Okay, what is the complex envelope spectrum? Just forget it. You have a spectrum of the complex envelope, which is S tilde DSBSC. Okay, is this much okay? Just accept it. How, why, and all. Let us see whether we can go to it or not. I'll try to explain it. But just now, just accept that DSBSC signal is having a spectrum. The complex envelope of the spectrum is looking like that. So now my question is, can you relate it with the SSB, or to make it the SSB spectrum? Our SSB spectrum look like our SSB spectrum looks like this, isn't it? So this spectrum, this one shifted in time or frequency is giving you this SSB spectrum, isn't it? This spectrum, what is this complex envelope spectrum, that shifted in frequency shifted version of that is this SSB spectrum, isn't it?
Ma'am, isn't it shifting and filtering, or is it just?
Yes, filtered and then shifted.
Filtered and then shifted.
Filtered and then shifted. This spectrum, filtered and shifted, gives you this spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how the filter should work? Let me show you the filter. So this is the DSBSC spectrum. I mean complex spectrum. So this, if I am filtering using a filter like this, with only this is W. This is, let us just name this filter as HUF. And this also will be a complex filter. Can you just tell me why this tilde? See, tilde in this scenario, we will be using it for all the complex representation. So this filter, I am just telling you that this kind of filter will have a complex representation. That means it will not be real. It will be complex. Why? Can you justify it? Can anyone justify it? See, a symmetric filter, I am explaining it myself. This kind of filter, this will have a real representation, HU. It will have a real, need not be HU, but H. It will have a real representation. But if you don't have negative frequencies, no, for each of the corresponding positive frequency, mathematically, if you don't have a negative counterpart, the final expression would have only complex structures, complex expressions. That is why this filter is having only positive frequencies, HUF. So it will have a complex representation. That is why we are representing it as H tilde. So this is this DSBS complex representation of complex spectrum of DSBSC signal filtered through this HUF. You are going to get one sideband, just one part, 0W.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
But that happens in time domain, no? When we have a symmetrical signal in time domain, then it is completely real in the spectral domain. How is
I didn't get
only
you.
positive?
Can you please explain?
How is a symmetrical spectrum in frequency domain? How is that real? That is what I'm asking. I mean, how did you infer that this will be complex and not real?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, that is the significance of negative frequency. Do you think that there is any physical, what is the significance of this negative frequency? Is it really possible? Negative
No.
frequency. It is just a mathematical concept. In fact, if you don't have that negative frequency, you cannot represent anything, just signal just like that. You need both the positives and the negative frequency mathematically, okay. No such thing as negative frequency exists in the physical domain, but it is a mathematical concept. So similarly, if it is not,
ma'am, when we write the negative component as well, the complex terms cancel out in the mathematical expression and we get the real result. Only the real parts are left. That is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
So if this is a complex filter, this is an S hat complex envelope for a DSBSC spectrum, and if this is my filter, this will give you, and whatever is this signal, the shifted version of that, frequency shifted version of that will be my, just let me represent as SUF, upper sideband. Okay, and that too complex. F, and this shifted, SU tilde F, shifted will be the actual signal, actual band, upper sideband of SSBT. This will give you, shifted in frequency will give me the spectrum like this. So SSB spectrum with upper sideband. So our target is that, so this HU tilde F, if we are trying to write an expression for that, it will be okay. 1 by 2 into 1 plus signum f and 0 else. This is for 0 to W. So this is the complex filter. The complex filter, if you are trying to write an expression for that, it will look like this. 1 by 2 into 1 plus j signum f, not j, j is not there. Why it is not the same? HUF. And SU tilde F will be so and so. So SU tilde F will be equal to S dash DSP SCF into that filter. So which will be equal to AC by 2. What is S hat DSPSCF? It is AC into MF. AC into MF into 1 by 2 1 plus signum f. So this is the upper sideband, complex spectrum of the upper sideband. So, but here if you notice,
Ma'am, is HU tilde not band limited, or is it the step function?
HU tilde F is not a band, it is a band limited, see 0 to W only.
Ma'am, but 1 plus, I mean half of 1 plus sigma f, signum f is U of f, right? Which is step function in frequency domain.
Yeah, but what is that expression HUF? See here 0F less than W.
Oh, okay. I didn't read that.
It is,
Also, ma'am.
it is band limited.
Also, ma'am.
HUF.
Yes, ma'am. Understand. Also, S tilde. I'm sorry. S tilde. What was it again? The complex envelope of DSPSC.
DSPSC. Yes.
Okay.
1 plus signum f for 0 less than f, 0 else. So this is HU tilde F. And here I am telling you SU tilde F. The complex envelope of that is HU tilde F into SDSBSC So that will give you AC by 2 into 1 plus signum F MF. So this is the thing. So what will be SU tilde T? This in inverse transform. That is inverse Fourier transform. In the time domain, SU tilde T will be inverse transform of this, which is equal to this splitting it, or again SU tilde F will be equal to AC by 2 into M of F plus AC by 2 signum F into M of F. So this will be equal to AC by 2 into M of T plus AC by 2 into signum F M of F. Signum F M of F, if you remember, see, M hat T is having an inverse transform J signum of F into M of F. So that is why I taught you that AC by 2 into signum of M of F. It is M hat T, J M hat T. So the inverse expression is AC by 2 into M of T plus J M hat T. This will be the expression for SU of T. So this is SU of T. Okay. Complex envelope. So now you have one more expression with you. You have a complex envelope. Any signal x of t, say any signal, okay, any signal x of t will be equal to, it's on complex envelope x hat x tilde t into exponential j 2 pi fct. Real part of this product will be any signal. Real part of its one signal, uska complex envelope is there. The frequency shifted version of the complex envelope. The real part of that will be the signal x of t. So applying the same principle here, what happens? Applying the same principle here, this signal, what is the expression? SU of t, from the previous expression, SU of t will be equal to real part of the complex envelope S tilde U of t into exponential j 2 pi fct, which is equal to AC by 2 into so this is the upper sideband expression. Similarly, if the filter is just another way flipped, and shifted, here the lower sideband T, you will get an expression AC by 2, the same thing, M of T cos 2 pi fct plus M hat sin 2 pi fct. So this will be the lower sideband. So this is how the description, time domain description of the SSB signal is a bit complex, and to arriving into it, we have to go through the complex representation. So, but finally, it is just the time domain description. Why we did all these things are just to find out the time domain description of this SSB signal. If you remember, we started from here. AM has an expression like this. DSB signal is having an expression like this. How to get the time domain description of SSB signal? And the answer is these two are the time domain descriptions of the SSB signal. So we have to go through a complex phenomena representation, complex envelope representation. The concept involving it is little bit deep. Let us see, if possible, we will explain it anytime. Complex and it needs a little bit more description into all those things. In fact, it is not required for you right now. Just to know that this is the upper sideband description and the lower sideband time domain description of that. So generation of SSB. How you are generating the SSB signal. So this is a phase discrimination method for the SSB method. Phase discrimination method for generating an SSB signal. So you have a modulating signal. You have two product modulators. This is the in-phase path. The first signal is applied. These two are two product modulators. Okay, this is also a product modulator. This is also a product modulator. This is the in-phase path. And this is the quadrature path. So here the output is M hat T. So wideband phase shifter passing through M of T. You have M hat T. Here the output will be AC cos 2 pi FC T into M of T. And here it will be AC sin 2 pi FC T into M of T. And actually basically realizing this expression. M of T cos 2 pi FC T minus or plus depending upon upper sideband or lower sideband. So if it is plus, it will be giving you lower sideband, and if it is minus, it will be giving you upper sideband. For minus, it is upper sideband. So this is the phase discrimination method for generating an SSB signal. So detection is basically coherent detection. You have a product modulator, a low pass filter, and this is a mathematical expression expanding. You will have one set scaled message and an unwanted term. Removing the unwanted term using the low pass filter, you are getting V0T. Whatever the expression is like this, and there will be a phase error if it is not this carrier signal. If it is not coherent with the incoming carrier, you will face a phase error. If it is not coherent. So this is the single sideband modulation. Now let us try to do a problem, SSB. Read out the problem.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of not coherent?
If there is a phase shift, suppose AC2 cos 2 pi FCT was the carrier signal coming incoming carrier, and at the receiver you are generating 2 pi FCT plus phi. So there is a phase difference of phi between the incoming carrier and the carrier generated at the detector. So that much voltage reduction will happen for the detected signal. So it is preferred that the incoming carrier and the generated carrier at the receiver should be coherent without any phase shift. Just one problem. Consider a two-stage SSB generator, SSB modulator. Input signal consists of voice, occupying a frequency band 0.3 to 3.4 kilohertz. Okay. The two oscillator frequencies are specify the following. So just try to solve this problem. Pass band and guard band of two band pass filters. So the block diagram of this thing is, you have the two-stage SSB generator. Last class we had seen it. This is the thing. You have a message signal M of T. So copy this.
Could you show the question once again?
Yeah, 1 second. The product modulator. You have A1 cos 2 pi F1T, and here you have a band pass filter 1. This is for the first band pass filter, and you have second product modulator. Here you have it. So this is the question. Copy the question.
Could you please read out the last part of the question once?
C part you want?
Yeah.
The pass band and the guard band of the band pass filters. The pass
Thank you.
band
Thank you.
pass band and guard band of the band pass filters. So you remember, hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
See, if you remember, So this is a block diagram for an SSB generator, a product modulator. Here the thing is simple. Once after the product modulator, you have, this is your message spectrum. So what all are the message signals told each other? It is from 0.3 to 3.4 kilohertz and 110 megahertz. So here is 0. So this is 0.3 to 3.4 kilohertz. 3.4 kilohertz. This is the message spectrum. 0.3 to 3.4 kilohertz. And here you have F1 and F2. F1 and somewhere long back you have F2. So this is the spectrum. Here is a 0. And again here the mirror images, minus 0.3, minus 3.4, here minus F1, here minus F2. So this is our scenario right now. So after the first product modulator, what is happening at the product modulator? Multiplying these two. And what will be the spectrum after the product modulator? After first product modulator. After the first product modulator, this graph, okay, what will be the graph? So here is my 0. So what will be the output? If I have a message signal of FM, F1 plus FM and F1 minus FM. So here as I have F1, this is F1 plus, or F1 is 100. So this is 100.3 and this is 100 minus 0.3. That means 99.7. Okay, and this one is F1 plus 3.4 kilohertz. That means 103.4 kilohertz. And here it is 100 minus 3.4. 100 minus 3.4 will be 96.6, isn't it? Yes. So this will be my 100.3, 103.4 and 99. So this will be my first, after the first product modulator. Here, similarly the mirror image here. This will be my spectrum. Are you okay? Is it okay? Are you agreeing to it?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the questions? First, the sidebands of the DSP-SC modulated waves appearing at the two product modulator outputs. So let me just see first product modulator output. These are the two sidebands which are appearing after the first product modulator. And the next question is the sidebands of the SSB modulated waves appearing at the two bandpass filter outputs and the passband and the guard band of the bandpass filter. So here is my first bandpass filter. So what it is supposed to so let us assume that it takes the upper sideband. Let me see whether the question specifies anything like that. Which sideband the...
But this is just the first product modulator, right? This is just the first product modulator, right?
Yes, this is at the after the first product modulator. So let us assume that both the bandpass filter is taking the upper sideband. Okay, so this is after the first product modulator. After the second product, after the first bandpass filter 1, let me assume it takes the upper sideband. upper sideband. I am assuming it, okay. It is not specified in the question. So what is the second question? The sidebands of the SSB modulated waves appearing at the two bandpass filter output. So after the first bandpass filter, my output is, so here I have F1, these things are removed. I have, this is minus F1, I took away my upper sideband only. After bandpass filter 1, so this is 100.3 and 103.4.
We assumed high pass filter.
I am not high pass, a band pass filter which actually selects this part.
How did we assume it? Like, is there a reason?
I just assumed. Anyway, it is a band pass filter. No, I can assume whether either it is a lower band. See, either of these two bands should be selected. It is a single sideband modulator, right? So here
Yes.
the output should be an SSB. So either
Yes.
the upper sideband or the lower sideband should be selected. I just assume that I am selecting the upper sideband. So after the bandpass filter 1, I have this output. Now, in the second stage, I have frequency at F2, which is 10 megahertz. 10 megahertz. So what is happening? See, here it is 10 megahertz. My carrier frequency is 10 megahertz. So here the output will be 10 plus and 10 minus. Okay. So here my band, after that the band will be 10 plus 100.3, 10 megahertz plus 100.3 kilohertz, and this is point is 10 megahertz plus 103.4 kilohertz. So do it accordingly. It will be, this megahertz means 10 to the power 6, right? So it will be 10 into 10, 5 more zeros plus this, or this will be 0.1 megahertz, something like that. So this will be somewhat like 10.1, and this will be also 10.1 approximately. That much difference only it will make. And again, you will have one more lower sideband, the product modulator, right? So here it will be 10 minus 100.3, or F2 minus 100.3 and F2 plus 100.3. No, F2 minus 103.4. And this is F2 minus 100.3. So similar is here. You have F2 minus F2. Anyway, mirror images. So this is after product modulator 2. So now you have a after bandpass filter 2. After bandpass filter 2. Here also I am assuming that I am selecting the upper sideband. So this will be my 10 megahertz plus 103. So this will be the spectrum after the bandpass filter 2. So now our question is, these A and B we have drawn. Now we need to know the pass band and the guard band of the two bandpass filters. So the first case, what is the pass band of the bandpass filter? See, this should be the pass band of my bandpass filter. And the guard band should be maximum width allowable for the transition band. That should be this width, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So, case 1 or part 1, bandpass filter 1, the pass band should be equal to this width. The pass band width should be 10.3 and 103 difference. This should be the pass band, and this should be the guard bandwidth. In this case here, 103 minus 9.7 guard band should be 103 minus 9.7. No, 100.3 minus 9.7. 100.3 minus 9.7, which is equal to 0.6 kilohertz is the guard band, and the pass band is from this to this. So 10 megahertz, 10 into 10 to the power 6 plus 100.3. To 10 into 10 to the power 6 plus 103.4. So this is the pass band of the band pass filter, first one, and this is the guard band of the band pass filter, first one. Now for band pass filter 2, the pass band is from C. Sorry, first one is 103 to 103.4. I mistaked it with the hundred and three to, this is the first filter, 103 to 103.4. This is the pass band of the first filter. Are you getting it? Are you understanding it? Anybody is having any doubt?
Shouldn't it be 100.3 to 103.4?
Yes, 100.3 to 100. Yes, 100.3 to 103.4. Yes. Similar values is making me confused. And this is the guard band. Similarly, after the second band pass filter, see this should be the pass band of my second band pass filter, the CD. So that is 10 into 10 to the power 6 plus 100.3 kilohertz to 10 into 10 to the power 6 plus 103.4 kilohertz. So this is the pass band, and the guard band is this way. 10 plus 100.3 to 10 minus 100.3. So around 200.3 is the guard band of the second filter. So this is about the, I just wanted to make you solve one SSB single sideband problem. So the next topic is vestigial sideband modulation, or VSB.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain the guard band calculation once?
See, the guard band means, see, see, this is my response after the product modulator 2. I have to filter out this, I need to apply a band pass filter. That is for sure. So the band pass filter cannot be an ideal filter, right? However I try, I will not get a perfect filter like this. So my actual filter will be somewhat like this. So it will have a transition band. This part will be there. How much is the allowable limit for that transition band? Or I need a guard band, separation between these two. However be this limit, it should not take any frequency component from this part of the spectrum. I strictly want only this part of the spectrum, this positive part. I want only this part to be separated. So I strictly don't want this spectrum means how much can be the allowable limit for my transition band. That is known as the guard band. So even if my transition band is starting from here till here, I am safe, right? Can you see the movement of my pen?
Ma'am, there's a slight delay actually.
See, this is the edge. Suppose this is my pass band edge. For the band pass filter, I am choosing to select the upper side band. Okay. Are you seeing that this is the edge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and suppose from here the transition band starts. Till where it can go? Maximum till here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I cannot have a transition band starting from here to here. That is not an allowable limit. Then this part of the spectrum, lower sideband will also come slightly after the band pass filter. That is not recommended.
Ma'am, so we are taking the width basically.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The maximum allowable width for the transition band. Exactly that is what the guard band is.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So that was one problem with respect to SSB. Next is vestigial sideband modulation. So here, similarly, if I told you, if you remember, for SSB generation, I told you one condition for the signal. The spectrum should not be like this. If a signal is having the spectrum like this, SSB is not possible. Didn't I tell you that? One condition for SSB
could you use a
signal
different
was...
color? Ma'am, could you use a different color? It's not legible.
Okay. So if a signal is having a spectrum like this, MF, SSB modulation, SSB is not possible. Didn't I tell you that? Do you remember? Last week's slide. Whereas for a signal like this, SSB is okay. Was it told? It was told. Whether you remember or not is a different thing. Do you remember? A signal which is having significant components near the lower frequency or zero frequency cannot be modulated. Yes. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Cannot be modulated using single sideband. Why? Because see this signal, the current problem, voice spectrum. It is having a frequency, say near to zero, it is not having any component, 0.3 to 3.4 kilohertz. If this two was together, it was similar around the zero spectrum. If I had a signal like this, what happens? Shifting it, the spectrum again will be continuous like this. And my filter, band pass filter, what will be the additional constraint on my band pass filter? It should have a very sharp cutoff. This guard band concept is not possible at all. Are you getting it? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, isn't it possible
So,
using
ma'am,
the phase
Yes.
discrimination?
no, it's fine. Go ahead.
What?
Using the second method, the phase discrimination, isn't it possible?
Whatever is the method, it is not. I mean, the spectrum should be the same. SSB signal with the generation method is a different thing, but even whatever method you are using, the filter for a separating the sideband, you should have a strong cutoff. If the voice signal or the signal whatever you are using is having lower frequency components.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Ma'am,
Okay. Tell me.
are we going to do any questions related to phase discrimination?
What thing?
Questions related to that, because this question was related to the frequency discrimination, correct?
Yes.
Any questions that are related to?
No, I didn't come with any today. But let me see if there. Let me see if there any chance of framing a problem like that. If possible, I'll bring tomorrow, next class.
It's envelope spectrum.
It is not audible.
Ma'am, I'm saying that this complex envelope spectrum concept is a little tough, so that's why I was.
No problems as such. No. So basically, this single sideband, the first requirement for single sideband is that those signals who are having significant components, frequency components near to the zero frequency, for those signals we cannot have a SSB modulated wave. So we will go for a compromise between, and what is the advantage basically for this SSB signal? For DSB, for a signal with this much bandwidth, the DSBSC signal, DSBSC spectrum will have twice that bandwidth. For a bandwidth of FM, if a signal is having a bandwidth FM, you are modulating it using the DSBSC signal, DSBSC method. The spectrum of the modulated output will be 2 FM. Minimum is 2 FM. And for an SSB, what extra benefit you are getting is you are conserving the bandwidth, because the spectrum is having only FM bandwidth. Whatever is the message signal bandwidth and the modulated signal will have the same bandwidth as the message signal spectrum, FM. So you are conserving bandwidth. So that is the advantage of SSB. So, but what is the problem with SSB? You not for all signals. That cannot be applied for all the signals.
All the signals as in frequency-wise, all the signals.
All the signals means all the signals. For doing an SSB modulation on a signal in a proper way, so that from the output you can recover the message signal also in such a way. If you want to modulate an SSB signal, it is very difficult for those signals which are having a spectrum near to the zero frequency. For those signals, it is not possible, because we don't have the capacity to design an ideal bandpass filter. We need a certain guard band for that filter, or some transition band will be there for the filter. We will be needing to accommodate that also. So that is why SSB is for only SSB modulation can be done on only those signals which are having no much significant frequency components in the zero frequency or the lower frequency region. So for those signals, we need to conserve bandwidth. At the same time, I have a signal which is having significant frequency components near to the zero frequency, which is having a spectrum like this. What to do? I'm having a signal like this. I'm having a signal like this. SSB is not possible, but I need to send it, right? It is a signal. I need to send it. I have a signal like this. I need to send it. How is it possible? I need to conserve the bandwidth also. Can I just say that, okay, anyway, the signal has a bandwidth of W, FM. So let me make it DSB-SC and 2 FM be the bandwidth. No, for this signal also, some way we need to reduce the bandwidth. What is the one way? This is the solution, VSB modulation. Vestigial sideband modulation, the advantage is that it does not take as much bandwidth as an DSB-SC modulation, but it takes more than that for an SSB modulation. So it is kind of a compromise between the DSB-SC and the SSB. Compromise between DSB-SC and the SSB. So the bandwidth will be message bandwidth plus a vestige, a little bit more bandwidth compared to the SSB signal. And this method of modulation is used for TV signals mostly. So if this is a message signal, after the VSB modulation, the spectrum will look like, I think I have, yeah, this will be the message spectrum. This is W plus a vestige FV.
Ma'am, how is taking more bandwidth compromising? If you have more bandwidth,
this
we can have more.
is less than W. FV is less than W. If I had used DSB-SC modulation, my bandwidth would have been 2W. If used SSB, my bandwidth would be W. But this signal, as it is having a significant component of frequencies near to the zero frequency, you cannot go for SSB modulation directly. So we are compromising with SSB. The filter, bandpass filter used will have a transition band, and it allows some part of the lower sideband also to be present in the spectrum. So this vestige plus W. Okay. Are you understanding it?
Ma'am, could you repeat that?
See, this is my message signal. And what is the bandwidth of this? Is W. Okay. If I am using AM, standard AM, what will be the bandwidth for this message spectrum? If I am using standard AM, the bandwidth of the after the AM will be 2. Okay. If DSB-SC, what will be the bandwidth?
2W only.
It will be 2W. If SSB, what will be the bandwidth?
W.
So, but this spectrum, no, because it is having significant component near the zero frequency, on this signal we cannot do SSB spectrum. SSB, that's what I am telling. How to do SSB? Here, it will be separated like this. DSB-SC itself will look like this. And to get the upper sideband, see, like this you have to separate. Your bandpass filter should have sharp cutoff, which is not possible. So what you will do, whatever you are having, that bandpass filter only you will use. So after filtering, you will have some transition band, and some part of the lower spectrum will be also get included. Isn't it?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So that is the vestigial side. Yeah, tell me.
For the vestigial additional frequencies that we have here, it's shown that on the left side we have some F. Is it symmetrical? Well, on the other side of
no. Symmetrical means yes. Here, this and this is symmetrical. This alone is not symmetrical.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is a vestigial sideband modulation. So this will be vestige. So this part, this doesn't look like a Gaussian. So this is 0. This should be my upper sideband. My spectrum will actually look like this, and a small vestige. This part will have only less, but all of this spectrum will be covered. This upper sideband, complete spectrum will be covered, and a small vestige. This is 0. So this part is the vestige FV. That FV is less than W. See, but it is more than 0. So FV, this FV part, vestige will be less than W and more than 0. If this FV is 0, it will be becoming SSB. This vestigial sideband modulation will become SSB if this vestige part is 0. So what is the generation procedure for this vestigial sideband modulation? This DSBSC signal is there. That passing through a band pass filter, you will get an SSB signal, but you have to pass it through a sideband shaping filter. It is same band pass filter only. You will get an VSB modulation. This is the expression for the single sideband shaping filter, and this is the frequency domain description for that. Hello, spectrum for that. So it is a band pass filter with a transition band, not sharp cutoff. And VSB modulator is the same thing. DSBSC signal. You have a product modulator, message signal, and carrier signal is the input to the product modulator. You have a DSBSC signal, and you will passing through the sideband shaping filter, and the output is S of t, VSB wave. And demodulator is like coherent detection only. Again, product modulator, and you are passing it through a low pass filter. So this is all about vestigial sideband modulation, and that was the last topic for the day.
Ma'am, can you go back one slide, please?
What?
Can you go back one slide, please? I just want to copy the equation.
I will be sending you the slides. So actually, whatever other than the slides were already sent, but whatever you have done in the, I wrote in the class, those things are pending.
Anyways, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, can we just use a kind of normal side, like SSB signal, the kind of a SSB, the circuits we use to generate a SSB signal, and because the filters won't be ideal anyways, the transition band itself will kind of bring in the vestigial band?
Yeah. Yes. Then it will not be an SSB signal, but it will be a VSB signal. It will not be an SSB signal, then it will be a vestigial sideband signal. But basically, this vestigial sideband modulation is used for TV signals. When the signal itself is having no lower frequency, it is a band pass kind of signal, then no problem, we can directly use SSB modulation. But when the signal itself is not a band pass, but it is a low pass signal. Low pass signal means a signal which is having the spectrum like that of a low pass filter. More frequencies more content near to the lower frequencies. Then that band passing will not be possible. Generation method can be the same, but there we need some compromise to get a more lower bandwidth. So we are naming it as vestigial sideband modulation.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? So then shall we wind up?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so this was actually by the end of amplitude. By this we ended amplitude modulation. Next class we will be starting with frequency modulation. So here, if you observe, for all the modulation patterns, the amplitude of the carrier is getting modulated. Next, we are going ahead with the next type of modulation, frequency modulation, in which frequency is the parameter. The carrier frequency will vary depending upon the message signal. Here, the amplitude of the carrier was varying depending upon the message signal. Next is the frequency of the carrier will be varying with respect to the message signal. And similarly, the generation techniques and the detection techniques, we will be going ahead. And we'll be solving some problems also. Once FM gets over, we will be solving some problems also. So almost it is getting over, maybe maximum 1 or 2 class. By next week, you will end with the analog modulation, and after that, they will be starting with the digital modulation. Other faculty, either Rajiv Mohan David sir or PMP sir, will be taking digital modulation or digital communication part. So, okay. See you then. Bye.
Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.